Marcus had never been lucky with women. For years, he watched his friends effortlessly find companionship, while he struggled through awkward conversations and timid flirtations that went nowhere. He wasn't unattractive, average looks, decent job, a little charisma when he managed to shake off his nerves, but something always seemed to get in the way. Maybe it was his desperation, the way he craved their attention, how he fixated on any glimmer of interest. He could never quite strike the right balance, and so he remained alone. That all changed the night he met her. It was at the Scarlet Room, one of the most popular nightclubs in Dreadford. He had never set foot in a place like this. The red lights cast glamorous shadows over the red velvet in the furniture. The lounge music sent relaxing frequencies to the mind. Beautiful people populated every seat in the house. He felt out of place, awkward in his plain clothes. Yet something had drawn him there that night, as if some unseen force guided his steps. And then he saw her. She stood at the bar, illuminated by a soft red glow, her pale skin almost ethereal against the dark backdrop of the lounge. Her hair cascaded in waves of black silk, framing a face that was both hauntingly beautiful and unsettlingly perfect. Her eyes, deep and blue, locked onto his the moment he noticed her, and in that instant, everything else faded into the background. She was like no one he had ever seen, and he couldn't take his eyes off her. His heart raced as she smiled, a slow, deliberate curve of her lips that sent a shiver down his spine. Before he could muster the courage to approach, she was already moving toward him, her gaze never wavering. She greeted him almost in a whisper when she was close enough for him to hear over the music. Her voice was delicate, sending tingles in his head, with an edge of something dangerous beneath it. Marcus was caught off guard, his usual nervousness kicking in, but the way she looked at him, as though he were the only one in the room, melted away his hesitations.
I'm Marcus.
He stammered, feeling foolish as soon as the words left his mouth.
I know. I've been watching you.
She said, smiling again. Her words sent his mind spinning. She had noticed him? Of all the people in this crowded club, this stunning woman had singled him out. It felt impossible, yet there she was, inches away from him, her presence overwhelming, intoxicating. She leaned in closer, the scent of her perfume wrapping around him like a warm fog.
Let's get out of here,
she murmured, her lips brushing his ear. And just like that, he followed her out of the club, driven by an infatuation that drowned out all reason. The nights that followed were a blur of ecstasy and confusion. She seduced him over and over again, each time more intense, more primal. Her name was Vanessa Cross, and he became consumed by her, lost in the allure of her beauty, her mystery. They would meet in the darkest corners of the city, her body always pressed close to his, her lips at his neck. Every encounter left him feeling drained, both physically and emotionally. Yet he couldn't resist her. The more she took from him, the more he craved her touch. His thoughts were consumed by her, her face, her voice, her scent. He found himself cancelling plans with friends, neglecting work, skipping meals, all for the chance to see her again. But there was something else. A darkness lingered beneath her beauty, something he couldn't quite put into words. When she kissed him, there was always a flash of pain, a sharp bite that sent waves of pleasure and discomfort through him. He never asked about it, he couldn't. It was as if his mind refused to question what was happening, as though he were under some spell, his will bending to hers without his consent. As the days passed, Marcus grew pale and weak. His co-workers commented on how sickly he looked, how distant he had become. He barely ate, barely slept, and yet every time Vanessa called, he rushed to her side. He couldn't say no. She was everything he had ever wanted, and yet he felt himself slipping further into a fog, unable to think clearly, unable to break free. The night it all unraveled was like any other. They met again at the Scarlet Room, the heart of the glamour in Dreadford's nightlife, just as they had the first time. But tonight, there was a hunger in Vanessa's eyes, something more urgent, more dangerous. She led him to a private room of the club, away from prying eyes, the mellow bass masking the sound of their whispered exchanges. When her lips found his neck again, the pain was sharper this time. He winced, trying to pull away, but she held him tighter, her fingers digging into his arms with unnatural strength. Something was wrong. The fog that had clouded his mind for so long was lifting, and suddenly he felt the cold edge of fear slice through him.
Vanessa, please stop.
But she didn't stop. Her grip tightened, her body pressing harder against his as she drank deeper, the heat of her breath scorching his skin. He struggled, panic rising in his chest as the world around him started to blur. His vision dimmed, the edges of his consciousness slipping away as she consumed him. And then in a flash of horror he understood. She wasn't just taking from him, she was devouring his life. In his final moments, Marcus saw her for what she truly was. Not a woman, but a predator. Her eyes gleamed with unnatural hunger. As his body went limp in her arms, she pulled away, blood staining her lips, her face a mask of dark regret. Crimson tears stroked her eyes as she used the intercom to call for help. This never happened before. She never killed someone while feeding. She was always careful, but tonight, something had awoken inside her. Something ancient, something powerful and draconic. After a moment, the owner of the place entered the room with her master key, Yelena Andreeva. She quickly took control of the situation and asked for the familiars to take care of the indiscretion. The owner did not seem pleased as she took Vanessa into another room to wait while it was all sorted out. Vanessa saw herself in the mirror, and the visage that looked back at her was the same she saw in Marcus' eyes. She was no longer human, and there was nothing she could do about it.